Hi guys, Berry Babe here. I'm going to give you an HCG check-in, and then I'm going to do a video for the weight loss surgery RNY community. I just was going through my YouTube and saw that Aubrey in Wonderland was getting ready to do a vlog on dumping, and I thought, oh, I was gonna do that. So before I watched her, I decided to come and do mine. Had a little occasion of dumping yesterday, so it refreshed my memory. To my HCG people, got into a little bit of indiscriminate eating yesterday. I have decided today I did not do the HCG and probably won't start again until after DC. So don't know how much I'll vlog between now and then. I need to get my eating down to a dull roar though, or else the trip to DC will be a nightmare. I'll be having to run into the bathroom every 20 minutes, and that won't make my husband happy. So that's it for HCG people. Now, this is for Lisa, Mini-Me in Tennessee, and anybody else who's had gastric bypass or is thinking about it. I had a fabric it wasn't lap band, it was open. It was a fabric, supposedly removable band placed around the top of my stomach in 1995. And I did okay for a little while, was not real successful. I learned really rapidly to eat around the band. So in 2003, my husband had had an RNY and his sister had had an RNY, and a niece had had an RNY, so I decided to have an RNY. Well, I lost a little more at the beginning of my when I had my band. I was at 300. I lost down to about 219. When I had my RNY in 2003, I was up to 285. And when I had my revision to duodenal switch in 09, I was up to 262. Now I had been down and up and down and up in the meantime. So I did not have a full conversion to duodenal switch. They took my RNY pouch and left it, and then just hooked the DS plumbing up. So I think I got the best part of the deal because I still have the restriction from the RNY, although not as much as it used to be, but then I also get the malabsorption from the DS, although I also get all the intestinal issues that come along with indiscriminate eating that way. However, because I still start out with the RNY pouch, I still dump. Now I want to talk about I've been on the boards for a long time. Back in 95, there really wasn't any internet going yet. In 03, there was more. I was real active on Obesity Help for a long time, and I've had a lot of friends and relatives that have had the procedure, and I've compared notes with a lot of people. So some of what I'm going to say is from personal experience, some is from urban legend. The one term, Lisa, that you heard was chunking. I haven't heard that. However, in our family, we call it hitting the wall. This is the ASL sign for I'm fed up. And so when we're out eating and we had that last bite, we are full up to here. And because I consider eating an athletic activity, in a marathon sometimes, I started calling it hitting the wall. When I had had that last bite and I was full up, fed up, full up, I hit the wall. That's what I called it. So I'm thinking that maybe that's what they're calling it, where you're so full that it's like one more bite won't. And then I of course frequently am too full or something gets stuck. I do now have a hiatal hernia, which is a rupture where the esophagus goes into the top of the stomach, which I probably will have to have fixed one day. But on to describing dumping. It is true that all people do not seem to dump. And all people who dump do not dump on the same things. And I will tell you that you may not dump on the same thing. And there's nobody that can tell you what amount of grams of sugar or what amount of grams of white flour is going to make you dump. For example, there are some brands of ice cream that I dump on, other brands I don't. I never remember that I might dump before I eat crap, except sometimes some ice cream I know does that to me. I did know it enough that I would try and save my indiscriminate eating for the evening because I knew that I would probably dump, and I didn't want to be doing that out in my life, in my professional world, where I had to deal with people, because to be honest, when I start dumping, I go really stupid. The first thing that seems to happen is that my heart rate picks up, and I can actually feel the beating in my chest. And now that my chest is not so liberal, it just really, and it's a little bit like, oh, am I going to have a heart attack? Oh, you're just starting to dump. And that goes when that sugar or that starch goes zooming through the pouch into the top of the intestines, which has been altered, and the intestines go, oh my God, I'm not ready for this, and it starts writhing, and it starts throwing the water in or whatever it does to try and relieve itself because it's in agony. When you say flu-like, yesterday pretty much I was like, think of the worst day of the flu you've ever had without a fever, where you lay there and hope to die because you want to throw up so bad but you can't, and your head is spinning and your heart is pounding and you start sweating. That's dumping. You can get it a little bit where you get a little bit lightheaded, or I have dumped to the point where I can't stand up because the room is just spinning. And at my house, if you ask somebody to do something and they've just eaten something that they shouldn't, and you say, I'm sorry, I'm dumping, they know you're no damn good. When my kids were younger, and I would have eaten something and ended up in a dumping syndrome, it was hell when all of a sudden there was an emergency. Here I'm in the middle of a dump and I've gone to bed and I just want to lie there and writhe around, and I have to get up and get dressed and go by poster board. It's almost like being on a rip-roaring drunk. So, you know, if you overeat a little bit, you might have a little bit of the symptoms. If you're out to eat, it may hit and you'll start feeling like you're not feeling well. Sometimes it even feels a little bit like, you know, when you're getting your period and you get that real heavy, blubbery feeling. That's kind of that way too. So it's different for everybody. Rumor has it that you can actually work your way out of dumping. If you chronically eat sugar, then your system will become accustomed to having dribbles of sugar all day long. So you're going to be less inclined to dump, which some of us picked RNY because, oh good, we'll dump, therefore we won't eat crap. Yeah, if you're not hardcore, that may work. If you're hardcore, you just plan when you're going to eat, or you plan what you're going to eat for when you can eat it, so that you can dump in private, or you can dump when it doesn't matter. But every time I forget how awful I'm going to feel, because I went a long time in a lot of days without dumping, and then all of a sudden it would hit. So, you know, you may dump on something today and you may not dump on something tomorrow. A lot of it may be what you've had in the meantime, or what else you've had that's in your stomach, or the phase of the moon, who knows. Rumor also has it that you can reset your dumping if you have eaten so much to desensitize yourself, and that goes pretty much like a pouch reset. When you do the pouch test, where you go back to liquids and then you kind of shrink it on down, if you deprive yourself of all those carbs and that sugar for an extended period of time, you can then reactivate. Your intestines kind of recover, and you end up being able to dump again. So to dump or not to dump, you know, I wish I could tell you that dumping keeps me on the straight and narrow. Well, sometimes. I don't always think, oh, don't eat that because you're going to feel bad, because all my life I've eaten and I feel bad. You know, when I had my first band in 95, in 92 I had been diagnosed with diabetes, and I was actually on insulin for a while. And I could, prior to that, eat and eat and eat myself into a coma, because my blood sugar would go up and I'd get tired and I'd go to bed and I'd sleep it off, and then I'd wake up and I'd eat some more and I'd go back to bed. Not healthy. After the restriction surgery, I could no longer eat that much to eat myself into oblivion. And that's one of the things that if you're used to doing that, you have to kind of get used to not being able to do. You can't get the volume. I still can't really tell with the RNY pouch when I'm satisfied, because my stomach's not connected, my leptin's screwy. I don't get satisfied. I either get too full, I get something caught in an opening and I can't get anything past it, or I just eat until I'm uncomfortable and then I either get rid of it or I just lay there and I'm uncomfortable until it passes. And then sometimes, like an asshole, I get up and oh, now I have some room, I'll eat again. So, you know, just because you have bariatric surgeries, even 3 of them, it doesn't stop the addiction to the sugar and the carbs. It doesn't stop the addiction to wanting to eat, the feel of it in your mouth, the feel of it going down your throat. It's very easy to learn how to eat around a surgery. So whatever surgery you are getting, if you are very smart in getting around things, you know, the endocrinologist calls it beat the pie. If you're diabetic, how much insulin do you have to take so you can eat that pie? If you have an RNY, Cheetos go down great. Crunchy things, chew them up, wash them all down. M&Ms go down really well. Ice cream is one of the most challenging things, actually, besides chicken breast. Lisa, everything you described for your dumping, that was dumping. And in 5 years, you'll be able to write your own catalog of what is dumping, because it is real. Like I said, I think you can desensitize yourself to the point where you don't dump, but you have to be prudent if you don't dump well. I've been out grocery shopping or something like that, and all of a sudden it's like, I gotta go to the car because I can't even, the room is spinning. And the DS actually reactivated the dumping. I think I dump worse now than I did before. But with the DS bottoms, now when I eat something like, any of those non-fat, jelly beans, Mike and Ike, the licorice, it's no fat, but it's all carbs, and it just like blows through me like a wind tunnel. I absorb all those calories and then it just goes whoosh and on through like a wind tunnel. If I put fat in with that, then it tends to lose bowels. So, I got the good and the bad of both. So, Lisa, I hope this helps anybody else that's looking for what is dumping. You get an idea. It's not fun, it is real, and if you don't dump, there may be a way to actually train your body so that you will, if that's going to help you behave. So, that's all for now. Good luck. Bye-bye.